When was it that you were like, oh, maybe Everest? How did that come into your life?
Yeah, I think in 2021 I climbed Ojos del Salado in Chile, and then I thought, okay, like if I can do this, maybe one day I can climb Everest. But it was like a long-term dream. It wasn't like a goal or a task to achieve within the next 1 or 2 years. But then in 2023, after climbing Mount Denali in Alaska, which was super hard, we got into a snowstorm. We rescued some other climbers and so on and so forth. Uh, and In our group, there were 3 people who climbed Everest before that, and 3 out of 3 told me, Andrew, this climb was way harder than climbing Everest. That's when I thought, okay, maybe it is time. Yeah, to start
Yeah.
getting ready. Yeah.
And as a, growing up as a child or as a young man, like, did you read about Everest? Like, did you have an idea of the mountain as a kid? Do you know what I mean? I'm just curious,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
how
yeah,
it's
yeah.
imprinted in your life.
Yeah. Friendly speaking, no.
Yeah.
No, yeah, of course, I knew about Everest, like about the highest mountain in the world, but and so on and so forth. But I never dreamt of it because I was uh, I was born and raised in a like poor country, and very far from any mountains. So the closest mountains are 1,000 kilometers or 600 miles away
Yeah.
from where I grew up. So no mountains, no dreams about that, no money for that, and not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. 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 So it was only later in life that you
yeah,
had the chance to dream about that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah. And it wasn't like I want to climb Everest, then I will. Then I'm starting to climb mountains to get ready. No, it was vice versa. So I started to climb mountains. I tried to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and I failed. So which, however, like Mount Kilimanjaro is very considered as an easy
Mhm.
mountain, easy to climb, and I never climbed it to the summit. So if any person climbed Kilimanjaro, you're way better than me. And yeah, then I climbed Ojos del Salado, some other mountains, and then step by step, I realized that maybe I can climb Everest. Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. And so then last year, was that the first attempt at Everest?
Yes.
Will you tell us the story of that expedition?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. So in 2023, I started to check more about Everest, and checked out that it takes around 50 days, including the commute, and which I was unable um, to manage aside of my work, of my family, of my friends, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I started to look for ways how can I do it faster. Then I learned about hypoxic tents, which can decrease the duration up to 3 weeks, 3 4 weeks. And then occasionally I found an interview with Roxanne Vogel, a lady from California, who did the round trip San Francisco, summit of Everest, San Francisco, so sea to summit to sea in 2 weeks. And then I said, oh wow, this is it. This is probably like if she can do that, maybe I can do that too. So I started to read more and more about that. Then I asked Mikhail, to the doctor, Irina Zelenko from Spain, from Barcelona, to like if she can help me with that. Um, but in the in the beginning, she and my guide were a little bit skeptical that it is possible to do because Roxanne mentioned she trained using not only hypoxic tent but also the altitude chamber, uh, which I I didn't have it at home,
Yeah.
and she had. As far as I remember, she worked for GU. It's a energy gels company.
Yeah.
So they had altitude chamber, and she used that for preparation. And also before that she was a mountain guide, and as far as I remember, a skyrunner. So it's like way better, like, prepared than me. So I thought, is it possible or not? And then we made a deal with the Irina, with my doctor, that if I can climb Mount Aconcagua way faster than usually, the usual climb of Aconcagua is 17 days. So we agreed, if we can do it under 1 week, we can try to do Everest in 2 weeks. So then, yeah, and I started to sleep in a hypoxia tent, getting ready, and I climbed it in 4 days, including the commute from New York to Argentina.
Oh wow.
So no, one way, yeah, see the summit, yeah. And then, yeah, she said, like, yeah, okay, let's try. And we were getting ready, and my idea was to avoid any crowds on Everest and to go towards the end of the season. But when I arrived to Kathmandu on May 23 last year, I realized that the mountain will be closed. So all the roads, all the ladders through Khumbu Icefall will be removed. So there will be no way for a person to climb there or back. So I've had two choices. Either I turn around right now, just not even step into the mountain, or I try to do this in 6 days versus 12 or 14. And I decided to try it. It wasn't that easy. During the climb, 3 times I lost my vision because of the lack of acclimatization. Then it recovered after several hours, but after the third time, at the altitude of 8,550 meters, it was very sharp pain, and I was alone on the mountain just with my climbing partner, and I decided that I can let him down, like he can die because of me, or get injured, or I can die, and no one can help me, because for my weight, there should be at least 4 or 5 people to evacuate me, which I didn't have, and I didn't want anyone to suffer because of me. So I decided to turn back. It was my decision. It was not anyone else's decision, just because safety is a priority. And I also have obligations for my family, to provide, to take care of them. So I turned around and barely descended, and went back. So just 300 vertical meters before the summit.
Yeah. And can you explain, just for some detail, can you explain how it felt when you were 300 meters below the summit, and your eyes, like you described it at breakfast, how it was like 40 minutes of like needles piercing your eyes. Can you just talk to me about,
Yeah, sure.
what did it feel like?
Sure,
It sounds
sure,
awful.
sure. Yeah, it is, man.
Sorry to make you live that.
Yeah. So it wasn't. First of all, it wasn't a snow blindness. It wasn't any like regular things that can happen in the mountains. I would call this like a stroke. When, let's say, like, you climb, then you want to have some rest, you just sit down, and then you close your eyes, and then when you try to open them, you have a very sharp pain in both eyes. So it was like one eye or another, 2 eyes. I think same amount of pain. And like, if you close your eyes, it's like 3 out of 10. But if you open, it's 9 or 10 out of 10. Like, very sharp pain, like someone puts a needle in your eye. So like, huge pain, very sharp. I screamed under the mask, because it's like a torture. Someone tortures you. And first time when I lost my vision, it was on the 6,000 meters. It was like very bad, but in 3-4 hours, it was gone to some extent. So after 3 hours, I was able to see maybe 50% of my time, which was very good comparing to 0% in the beginning. Then at 8,000 meters, it was the easiest one. It was maybe 40 minutes. I was waiting, and then it was gone. And by the third time, I was waiting for 40 minutes and no symptoms of relief.
And you couldn't see.
I could see 1 second out of 10. It's like like when you uh, when you open your eyes,
Yeah.
and there is like very sharp pain, so you just close them.
Yeah.
So it was like a horror movie.
Mm.
Uh, even for descent. So you open your eyes, sharp, see what's going on. But the vision was okay. It just about the pain. So it
Yeah.
was no circles, not like that, but very sharp pain. Very yeah, and you see what's going on in general, and then you go, and your climbing partner says like, okay, like here is a stone, here is a hole, go right, left, wider, shorter, and so on and so forth, and you just go step by step, like a blind person, which I was. And the another problem is that uh, in the mountains you cannot go like some blind people go like they put um, their hand, their arm to the shoulder of a person ahead of them and just walk, because each of you wears crampons, and it's a matter just of time that either you or a person ahead of you will damage you, and you'll have an open injury, and you won't be able to walk, and probably you'll die because of that.
Yeah.
So there is no way someone can walk you. They can just tell you which, or use a rope, but every step is very hard and energy consuming.
Yeah, yeah. That's crazy. So Andrew, you made it down safely. Your eyes recovered,
Yeah.
and then you wanted to do this again.
No, 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 no. Actually, like uh, on May 29th, I believe, like I was the last climber coming back from the mountain, mm, before ladders up, and I told myself like, no, that's enough. That's not for me. Either I go with 40 days, or I didn't go. Maybe for several months, I did nothing for preparation. I wasn't even sure that I will climb Everest again. Uh, but then I started to reflecting about that and start to think, maybe if I can fix the issue with my eyes, I still can do that. Because other than that, yeah, of course, I was like very tired, didn't have much sleep, and so on and so forth. But I almost made it. 300 vertical meters is just 3 hours of climb. Then I decided, no, I don't want to leave this thing undone, because I had some things which I, I could do before, but I didn't, and I feel sorry for that. So I didn't want to add on to that list. So I decided, maybe I think in January I decided, no, I will do that again. Yeah. So I went to one. By the way, ophthalmologists in here in Kathmandu and back in New York, they said your eyes are okay,
Yeah.
because after the test they ran on the sea level, they said that's fine, but they couldn't tell me what's going on, what was the cause of the problem. So I went to another doctor, and then the doctor number 7 ran some specific tests and told me I have a specific issue, which I need to fix, and which could be a source of the problem, which I did. And this year I didn't have much problems with my eyes.
Okay. Yeah. And so, please have some tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's fascinating that you wanted to go back. So before, and I want to hear the story of this year and all that. But before I ask that, I'm just very curious for you, like, what's motivating you to take such risks to climb Everest? Like, what is it about you and your life, and like, what did you want to get out of climbing Everest? Was it that you wanted to have the adventure and be up there and see it, or is there something that you wanted to bring back from the top for yourself to prove something for your kids, or like, I'm just curious, what is it about
Yeah,
that motivated you?
yeah, yeah. That's a great question. I spent many hours figuring out mm, how to answer that. Uh, and what I think for now is the three reasons. Um, One reason is for me, and I think every climber is to some extent egoistic. Uh, so let's be honest about that. And for me, that is a self reflection transformational journey when you push to the limit and you change yourself. And what I told myself, even if I wouldn't climb this Mount Everest this year, still I would be very happy because the process was way more important than the goal. Second reason was and is for my son. I wanted. He's right now. He just turned 6, so he doesn't care about all these things. But I believe when he gets older, they could, and he gets into a complicated situation with this, like complicated choice. Uh, he might think about this example and said, okay, like my father like did something extraordinary, something complicated. So maybe I can do that too. So to lead by example. And the third one is for the industry. Uh, I think the pre-acclimatization approach is undervalued. Most people don't even know about that it exists. So I wanted to show that okay, if a regular guy, non-athlete with a broken arm can climb in under 4 days, including the like one day for commute from New York and jet lag and stuff, uh, then probably I can climb it in 15 days instead of 45. So in this case, without increasing the price or increasing the risks. And in this case, more people can climb high mountains, and yeah, and that will be good for the industry, for society, and also for Sherpas too, because more clients, more money.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, and less risk.
yeah,
Yeah. So then, tell us the story of. Yeah, please take a
yeah,
second.
yeah. Yeah.
Wet
No,
your
no worries,
palate.
no, no worries.
No, but I want to hear the story now of this
Uh-huh.
climb. Maybe starting with your broken arm. How did
Uh,
so how did you prepare? There was some confusion initially. I think when the first press release came out, it was like no pre-acclimatization. So we were very confused.
mm,
We thought that maybe you had just like
super lungs.
you just like got
Yeah.
on a plane and went up.
No, not
And
at
it was
all.
I talked to TJ. I was very relieved to learn that you had done pre-acclimatization.
Yep.
It made it much safer.
Yeah.
But anyways, I do want to make sure, like, for the record too, that I think the story about your broken arm and all that's amazing. But I also want to hear about the 3 months you spent training, and how did you prepare to come over to break the record? And yeah, then how did you get here and how did it go? Okay, what brought you here?
Yeah. Uh, sure. First, about the record, I wasn't competing with anyone else, with Roxanne, with someone else, but with myself. So I thought I set my own record, like in 6 days last year, up to 8,500 meters. So I wanted to break my own record, not competing to other people. Regarding the preparation process in itself, I spent 3 months and a half approximately in a hypoxic tent, which is a lot because usually people spend 1 month and a half.
Yeah.
So I spent like 2 times more.
Was that hard on your marriage?
Yes, yes. My wife isn't very happy about that. So yeah, and I also did some active hypoxic training on an incline treadmill. And by the way, like if anyone wants to train, last year I was doing mostly trail runs. This year specifically, I did 0 trail runs. I just did Stairmaster and inclined treadmill, but with 25 degrees. That's a huge difference because last year I trained with 15 degrees incline, which is not very much useful. But for Everest, mostly you have like 35 degrees incline, which 25 degrees is very similar to. So this year I felt way better on the mountain than the last year. I was moving faster and continued less energy. Regarding the arm, uh, it's a funny story. So after trying to climb Everest in May 2024, I didn't go to any mountains. I was working all the time, not spending time with my family, and then I think in January I figured out what was going on with my eyes. Tries to fix the problem, but I wanted to make sure that it is gone. So I decided to go to some mountains to check my eyes in the real altitude. So I decided, okay, like what's interesting is here is a Cotopaxi mountain in Ecuador, which is 5,800 meters, not too high, but high enough, like tall enough, yeah, right. It's like Kilimanjaro, um, and it's comparatively safe. So like as Kilimanjaro, so tens of thousands of people climb it every year. I said, okay, it's safe. I can try my eyes there. So yeah, and it will like to recall some skills in the mountaineering I have before Everest. So and in the middle of March I went there to climb it, and unfortunately during my climb I got into the largest avalanche in the history of Cotopaxi, and some people say in the largest avalanche in the history of Ecuador. And Ecuador is, as you know, it's like mountain country, a lot of a lot of mountains, a lot of climbers. Um, Me, along with 40 other climbers, we were swept by the avalanche, and it was horrible. uh, my guide and I, we were connected with the rope. We were dragged about 400 vertical meters, so about 800 meters in total, or 2,500 feet, which is very long distance. And the horrifying thing was that I don't know how it happened. I think the mountain there was like with stairs, and for two times the like I was stopped inside the avalanche. I was like buried, and it's it's a unique feeling. Like you're climbing the mountain, you're almost at the top, you're in a good mood, you're making some plans. Then there is an avalanche starting, and of course I did some specific things. First I wanted to stop with my crampons. It didn't work. Then I turned around to trying to swim there in the avalanche, and but while I just turned around and it was under the avalanche, it stopped, and I was like buried under it. And when you are buried, it's like you are in the grave. I was unable to lift a finger, and because in the mountains no one has those jackets or some GPS signals, yeah, or shovels. There is no way like someone can help find you and help you. Yeah, so luckily it moved on, and then maybe in 10 seconds or 20 seconds it stopped again. And for the second time I was thinking, okay, this is it. But then it started to move for the third time, and finally when it stopped, finally I was buried by half. So I was like right side of my face was above the ground, so I was able to breathe, to get up. And my guide is very experienced, very professional person. I like him a lot, Franklin. Um, he broke both legs, I think 2 ribs, and some issues with his kidneys. They didn't work properly after the avalanche, so he was unable to walk. And for me, the whole right side of my body was hurting. My knee, my hip, my elbow, my shoulder. Then we started to look for help. And everyone else was also hurt. Like it was like a plane crash. Like someone was screaming like Mateo, Mateo, Pablo, Pablo. Like looking for their friends and or relatives. Then we were waiting, and I was just jumping around, screaming for help because Franklin wasn't able to walk, and I wasn't able to and of course I wouldn't never go out without him, without helping him. Then some other guides who were untouched by the avalanche, they came in. I started to help him, and I went to the hospital, and they did X-rays and told me I have 2 fractures in my shoulder blade and 2 fractures in my elbow, uh, and one of them just has split my bone into 7 pieces. So in total, I get 4 fractures. And the doctor in Ecuador told me, like, Andrew, no way in 2 months you are going to Everest, which I thought probably is. I texted Nimsday about that, said, let me try to recover, but just to let you know. He said, okay. And then I worked out with the Dr. Irina the new plan, how I can train. So no no backpack, no any like bars for muscle endurance on my shoulder, no running because it's shaking and my bones needed to be healed. Only stairmaster or incline treadmill. I also used weights for my legs and weight about around my waist, like free divers do, to emulate the backpack, and started to train just in case if I can recover quickly enough. So like, and the doctors told me like the probability that I can recover 20% or so. Yeah, but then after 5 weeks after the avalanche, I made X-ray. They told me, "Oh, you're healing well, and you still may do it." Of course, is it a good thing to climb Everest with a broken arm? Of course, no. Is it a good thing to climb Everest just to climb Everest in a super fast ascent with a broken arm and a shoulder? Of course, no. But as you know, there are only 2 weeks in a year when you can climb Everest, and I spent so many efforts, put so much energy there. So I wanted to give it a try. So yeah, I did it. Yeah, I decided to climb.
And so then, how important to you was the sort of the sea to sea record? The impression I'm getting, and tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It seems to me that for you, this was about your personal quest. It was about you accomplishing your goal more than it was about this like big fuck you to the world. I can do this so fast. It seems like it's more personal to you.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, definitely, Ben. And like for the last year, there was zero interviews, zero like PR, the zero articles, nothing. I was just doing it by myself. I even didn't make any pictures about that. Just for my even for my phone and so on and so forth. So yeah, it was like a self-reflection, transformational journey, and a challenge that I put for myself. Because like I don't have any interest in in becoming famous or making money, selling merch or something like that. Because of that, my work doesn't require that, and it's even somehow it could be even even bad for my career with setting these kinds of records. So yeah, it was for myself, for my son, and for the industry to show that you don't need to spend 50 days on the mountain.
Yeah. So then I would just love to get on tape, for you just to say, so tell us very quickly about the 4 days last week
Ah,
when you went from JFK to the summit.
yeah,
How did it go? And if I understand, like when I talked to TJ and stuff, the original plan was to go a little slower,
yeah,
but then you guys just kind of went for it
yeah,
and did it in under four, right?
yeah,
So could you
right,
just
yeah,
tell that story, like from New York to the summit of Everest?
yeah. So the initial plan was to do it in 5 days, but then we recalculated, and we thought, okay, we can do this in 4 days and a half. But then we said, like, we decided, okay, like let's try to do it in four, and we have a limit of half a day or a day more. So that was, to be honest, that was like very optimistic plan.
Yeah.
It wasn't realistic. It was very optimistic plan, which we tried to do and complete it. So how did it work? How did it go? Um, mm, at uh, around 1 a.m. Eastern time, I started from New York, flew to Istanbul, then 3 hours layover, then from Istanbul to Kathmandu, and 6 a.m. next day, Nepal time. I was in Kathmandu. Then maybe in 4 to 5 hours, I took a helicopter. During those hours, I took a helicopter from Kathmandu to Lukla, then from Lukla to base camp. Arrived to base camp maybe in 11 a.m. Then got some briefing with the team, repacking, checking, medical checkups, and so on and so forth. And at 9 p.m. we did puja and started to go from base camp through Kumbu to Camp 2. In I think in 11 hours, 12 hours we were in Camp 2. Rest few hours and went to Camp 3. So and arrived there in 24 at 9 p.m. So in 24 hours, I went from base camp to Camp 3. I had some maybe around 8 hours rest, and went to Camp 4, 4 hours rest, and the summit push.
Oh, it's just right up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No big stops. Just up and up to the summit, and that's how it went. So like if you talk about base camp to summit, it was even less. It was maybe 2 days and a half. Yeah. So like, the half a day it was in base camp, and 24 hours approximately it was for the commute. Yeah. So if you calculate that, like the C2 summit from Istanbul, which is also on the sea level, that could be even faster, like 3 days and a half.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
And you felt strong and your eyes were good and everything worked.
No, no, no. Uh, no, my eyes felt good most of the time. Just at 8,000 meters, they started to hurt. Same location where I lost my vision for the second time last year. Maybe because of the wind, but this year I realized that very quickly, and I started to protect my eyes from the side wind. Uh, pushed. Push my ski goggles more so that they protect my eyes more. And most of the time I went with the closed eyes. So just same strategy. Like 1 second you open, look what's going on, and 9 seconds you go with the closed eyes. Maybe and the terrain allowed that, and maybe in 20 minutes it was gone, and yeah, the rest of the climb was good. Yeah.
And so how did it feel when you got to the summit?
Honestly, not much. Not much, not much, because I was on I was on a quest, and it hasn't ended, because most of the injuries and most of the issues are on the way back, especially with me without any real acclimatization. So like I spent there maybe 15 minutes, and I was the one who told the team, okay, guys, let's go back. And because that was not the final point. My final point was base camp. Yeah. So yeah, I was very focused at the moment that no, I cannot relax. I cannot relax, especially 4 years ago when I climbed Ojos del Salada. A friend of mine, he climbed it faster than me, way faster than me, but he relaxed in the top, and he got high altitude sickness, and we needed to evacuate him, and he almost died. And that's the thing that I always remember of. That don't get relaxed on the summit. You can relax only on the base camp.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then the descent, how long did the descent take?
Oh, that was.
Did you rest in Camp 4? Or
Yeah, just maybe for 2 or 3 hours. Uh, there were some issues during the descent. First, I got into a huge traffic jam, and it wasn't just like a slowly moving, but just we were stuck for
the balcony, or
yeah, about the balcony. We were stuck maybe for 2 hours and a half. Me and maybe 50 other climbers and Sherpas. And we were freezing, we were losing energy, we were losing oxygen, and that was horrible. And there was no way to go around because the route was so narrow and so steep, so like no way to go somewhere. Then after we started to move, and I saw who was delaying us, I realized it was a lady uh, who got high altitude sickness. I asked her what's going on. She told me like she has a high supply of oxygen for 4 liters per minute, but still she couldn't walk. So I tried to help. I gave her my mask to try. If the problem with the mask, then I gave her some medicine. Then I gave her my last and only syringe with dexamethasone, which is in liquid form, which is very useful. So which I had for emergency use for me. I gave it to her and helped her. So also like maybe spent maybe 30 minutes there, and then I helped a Sherpa from another mountain company who was out of oxygen, who was abandoned by his colleagues, and it was below the balcony, maybe at 8,200 meters, not so far from the Camp 4, but he fell asleep and without oxygen. And we all know that if you fall asleep without oxygen at that altitude, you'll probably not wake up. So I was waking him up, shaking him, gave him some oxygen, gave him energy gels, and also spent a lot of time and energy for that too. So I was very tired, and yeah, I think we summited around 9:20 a.m. But I arrived to Camp 2 at 1 a.m. Slept maybe 7 hours, and then we started at 9 a.m. from Camp 2 to base camp. Then took a helicopter to Lukla and to Kathmandu. I arrived to Kathmandu at 6 p.m. and then 7:30 there was my flight to Dubai. So very quickly.
oh my god,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and in total, like if you talk about sea to summit to sea, it took me 5 days and 1 hour.
From Istanbul, or
No, from
New York?
New York summit, Dubai.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5 days, 1 hour.
Amazing. Amazing. When did you feel like you were done? Did base camp feel like you were done? Did Kathmandu feel like you were done? Or was it Dubai when you really felt like you had done it? When did you let yourself admit that the quest was over?
I think when I sat down in the plane in Dubai, that was the moment I thought, okay, that this is it, because there is nothing I need to do. This is it, because when the helicopter flew in from Lukla to Kathmandu, there was heavy rain, and they told me we might need to turn back. And then when we arrived, it was just 1 hour and a half before the plane departs.
Yeah.
So I needed to change my clothes, to register for a flight, to do security, to do immigration, and so on and so forth. So that I was like still running around to make things happen. Yeah.
Crazy. Well, congratulations. I mean, it's such a cool thing you did. And I've really appreciated talking to you. So I just want to, I think the last question I want to wrap up with is there just like a message for the public that you've learned about this experience, the good and the bad of it?
Mm.
Just wanted to give you a chance to just kind of reflect on that and share what this process has taught you.
Yeah, that's thank you for asking, Ben. Uh, I would say two things. First, as to me, this is kind of a riot of non-athletes, uh, regular guys like me who work by computer. That even regular guys and girls can do, some big things. So if someone's like watching us or listens to us, uh, if you have a dream, but you're not made for that. Like, I'm not made for mountains. I was not born in the mountains. No one from my family was, climbing mountains. I'm not good until from the standpoint of my height and weight. I'm like too tall and too heavy for mountains and so on and so forth. But still, you can achieve some big things, and not just climbing Everest, anything. So just like Eliud Kipchoge said, no human is limited, but not just for super athletes, but just for regular people who can do super like complicated things. And the second takeaway, I'm I'm really afraid that some people will read, oh, Everest in 4 days, and will try to climb Everest in 4 days without putting that much effort. That's that's my biggest fear about that, because I'm pretty sure that there will be lots of dead people or heavily injured people, because I spent thousands of hours for preparation, for research and development, for mistakes. I didn't climb Everest last year, and I learned a lot out of that. So I would say that the safe zone is between 15 and 25 days, using pre-acclimatization and right preparation, but not 4, not 5, not 7 days. And what we discussed with you during the breakfast, I'm to be honest, I'm not sure if uh, if I would like to do that again, I would be able to do that, because there was some portion of luck too. So yeah, just if anyone wants to climb it fast, not that fast.